Your body knew he was lying before your mind did. You felt it in your stomach, that tight, hollow drop, before he even finished the sentence. And you probably told yourself you were being irrational, too sensitive, overreacting again. But here's what shocked me when I went deep into the research. You weren't overreacting at all. Your nervous system was doing something extraordinarily sophisticated, something neuroscience is only now beginning to fully explain. And if you've ever dismissed that gut feeling, only to find out later you were completely right, stay with me, because what I'm about to share will change how you understand every instinct you've ever second-guessed. There's a concept in neuroscience called neuroception. It was coined by Dr. Stephen Porges, the researcher behind polyvagal theory, and it describes something that will immediately make sense to you if you're a highly sensitive person. Neuroception is your nervous system's ability to scan the environment for safety or danger, completely below the level of conscious thought. Not your thinking brain, not your rational mind, your nervous system. It's picking up micro signals constantly, tiny shifts in someone's vocal tone, a barely there change in their facial expression.
The way someone's breathing changes when they're under stress. And it's doing all of this before you form a single conscious thought about what's happening. This is why you can walk into a room and feel something is wrong before anyone has said a word. This is why you felt uneasy around him before you had any actual proof. Your nervous system had already processed the data. You just hadn't caught up yet. Now, here's where it gets incredibly interesting, because this doesn't happen equally in everyone. Research consistently shows that highly sensitive people, what psychologist Elaine Aron calls HSPs, have a nervous system that is literally wired for deeper processing. We're talking about roughly 20% of the population whose neural circuitry picks up more environmental input, processes it more deeply, and responds to it more intensely. That's not a flaw, that's a feature. A profoundly useful, profoundly exhausting feature. But here's what most people completely miss. The reason HSPs and empaths so often override this extraordinary intelligence is psychological, not neurological. And this is where Carl Jung walks into the room. Jung understood something about the human psyche that neuroscience is now confirming from a completely different angle. He believed that what we cannot make conscious appears in our lives as fate. In other words, the parts of yourself you've been taught to distrust, your sensitivity, your gut knowing, your emotional depth, those don't disappear when you suppress them. They go underground, into what Jung called the shadow. And for most empaths, the sensitivity itself gets shadowed. Think about that for a moment. You were told, probably from childhood, that you were too much, too sensitive, too intense. You felt things too deeply. So what did you do? You learned to override the signal. You felt the nervous system warning, that hollow drop, that chest tightening, that sudden exhaustion when you entered certain spaces, and you told yourself it wasn't real. That's not irrational sensitivity becoming rational. That's rational intelligence being trained out of you. And because of that, the very thing that was designed to protect you became the thing you learned to argue yourself out of. So what actually makes the difference between an empath who trusts their nervous system and one who doesn't? It comes down to what Jung called individuation. Individuation is the process of becoming a fully realized, integrated self. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself that were exiled. And for the empath, one of the most exiled parts is this: the authority of your own perception. Here's a story that might feel uncomfortably familiar. You're in a relationship. Early on, something feels off. Not dramatic, not obvious, just a quiet, persistent unease. A slight change in his tone when you ask a direct question. A flatness behind the warmth. A subtle but consistent pattern of you apologizing when you didn't do anything wrong. Your nervous system flagged it every single time. But your mind, shaped by years of being told you're too sensitive, constructed a counter-narrative. He had a hard day. I'm reading too much into this. I don't want to be that person. And months or years later, when the full reality became undeniable, you probably asked yourself how you didn't see it sooner. But you did see it. You felt it in your body every time. The seeing was never the problem. The trusting was. Now, this is where polyvagal theory and Jungian depth psychology do something remarkable when you put them together. Porges' research shows that the nervous system has three primary states. There's the ventral vagal state, calm, connected, regulated. The sympathetic state, activated, anxious, fight or flight. And the dorsal vagal state, shut down, collapsed, dissociated. Here's the thing nobody talks about enough. Empaths who grew up in emotionally unpredictable environments, which, let's be honest, is most of the empaths I speak with, often learn to live predominantly in that third state, shut down, disconnected from the body's signals, not because the signals stopped coming, but because it felt safer to not feel them. Porges calls this immobilization without fear. Jung would call it the sleeping ego. I call it the moment your sensitivity stopped feeling like a gift and started feeling like a liability. And even worse, this shutdown doesn't just affect your relationships, it affects your self-perception. Because when you're chronically disconnected from your body, you lose access to your most reliable source of self-knowledge. You start outsourcing your reality to other people. You start asking, am I overreacting?
More than you ask, what is my body actually telling me? You become easier to gaslight, not because you're weak, but because you've been taught to distrust the most intelligent system you have. But the surprise is, you can reverse this. And the reversal doesn't start with thinking harder or analyzing more. It starts with coming back into the body. This is something both somatic therapy and Jungian active imagination agree on, which, honestly, I find that fascinating. Jung's active imagination practice involves creating a conscious dialogue with the unconscious. You close your eyes, you notice what arises, an image, a sensation, a feeling, and you follow it without trying to control it. What happens, neurologically, is that you begin practicing interoception, conscious attention to internal body states. You start hearing the nervous system signal again, not just feeling it and dismissing it, actually receiving it as information. The stomach drop becomes data. The chest tightening becomes a message. The sudden exhaustion in someone's presence becomes a reading. And slowly, this is the individuation process actually working, you stop needing external validation to confirm what your body already knows. Because here's the reality. Your nervous system has never once needed your permission to perceive the truth. It's been doing it your entire life. The only question is whether you've been listening. So let's bring this together. Your nervous system processes reality before your conscious mind does. As an empath or HSP, your neuroception is extraordinary, not broken. And the reason you've been overriding it isn't weakness. It's a conditioned response to being told repeatedly that your sensitivity wasn't trustworthy. Individuation, in the Jungian sense, is the process of taking that authority back. I want to ask you something genuinely. When was the last time you felt a clear nervous system signal and talked yourself out of it? What happened next? Share it in the comments. I read every single one, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If this resonated with you, please like this video. It helps more people find their way here. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. This is the Depth Empath, and I'll see you in the next one.